the smartest film critic in the world, Cole Smithy.
Hi, this is Cole Smithy with ColeSmithy.com and your guide to what to see and what to avoid at the movies this week. Gaping plot holes don't prevent this nearly current espionage thriller from grabbing its audience and keeping them hooked all the way to its socially volatile ending.
This is the most high-profile murder case in British history.
As the title hints, England's CCTV, closed-circuit television, method of public and private surveillance comes into play during a case involving the terrorist bombing of Borough Market in central London. The trial of a foreign suspect plays out in a secret London court where romantically linked defense attorneys, played by Eric Bana and Rebecca Hall, struggle to find the truth beneath a thick stack of government-propagated deceptions. Audiences familiar with the NSA scandal regarding America's secret FISA court-approved surveillance of every aspect of foreign and domestic communication will be ahead of the film's curve. Still, it is no less comforting to recognize that the UK is just as much of a police state as the US. The movie has a lot going for it, not the least of which is Eric Bana's ever-reliable presence, this time as Martin Rose, a defense attorney called upon to defend the bombing's accused mastermind, Farouk Erdogan, played by Dennis Moschito, after the suicide of the original defense advocate. Bana's terse masculinity serves the part well. You always have the sense that Bana's self-possessed character is the kind of man who doesn't need to carry a gun to defend himself. Similar to America's bogus justice system for accused terrorists, the British courts deemed the evidence so sensitive that the imprisoned defendant is not allowed to know the details of the charges being brought against him. Supposedly unaware of Martin's romantic past, the court appoints Claudia Simmons-Howe, played by Rebecca Hall, to the defense team.
Between MI5 and the defendant.
Defense lawyers who ask the wrong sorts of questions, they're expendable.
Although the attorneys should, in good conscience, recuse himself or herself, Martin and Claudia have too much ambition to let such an opportunity for media exposure pass unexploited. They are willing to risk their careers, all or nothing. Never mind that once either of them receives the evidence, it becomes illegal for them to communicate in any way. This is where the story's biggest plot hole opens up. Although the screenwriters do their best to fill in the gap for the court's motivation behind such a problematic pairing, the predominant surveillance element of the plot gets in the way. Director John Crowley keeps the tense dramatic movement tight through quick plot reversals that slingshot the story toward a logical or illogical conclusion depending on your perspective. Although the film's action sequences are limited, punches of gritty encounters strike with lightning bolt efficiency. Crowley's use of surveillance camera footage heightens the drama, although the director doesn't utilize the effect with sufficient purpose to serve the storyline. As with the other surveillance-themed movies made recently, screenwriter Stephen Knight lacked knowledge of the Edward Snowden disclosures that have alerted the world to a depth of US and UK government corruption, some of which is on display here. As it stands, Closed Circuit is a well-executed sketch of an unethical government and judicial system exploiting the public's fear of the unknown in order to manipulate the same terrorist acts it pretends to defend against.
Closed circuit cameras in London. I'm sure there are at least half a dozen watching me right now.
There are people who really want a conviction.
You get the sense that the amount of espionage-related surveillance is about to get a lot deeper over the course of the next few years. I give this fair thriller a B-.
I'm gonna move back in with you guys.
You're 30 years old.
I'm 29. I'm 29.
5 years of economic collapse has led many Americans to follow a path similar to Kristen Bell's 30-year-old character in Liz W. Garcia's spotty debut feature.
I have a plan. I'm gonna lifeguard.
You have a college degree and you're 30.
I'm 29.
Bell plays Lee, an Associated Press reporter who makes the classic mistake of sleeping with her boss. Unsure of her place in the meat grinder of Manhattan, Lee retreats to her parents' suburban house in her Connecticut hometown. Picking up where she left off, Lee gets her old lifeguard job back at the neighborhood pool. She hangs out with her classmates from high school. Mel, played by Marnie Gummer, now works as the assistant principal at the local high school. She has boredom and communication issues with her vanilla husband, even if Mel is hardly a rebel to begin with.
And I'd let you suck me down this rabbit hole.
You have your whole life ahead of you. You have no idea how lucky you are.
You're an adult.
Lee's gay childhood buddy Todd, played by Martin Starr, is happy to hang out and smoke pot with Lee as she befriends a couple of teen boys that frequent the pool. Hooking up with little Jason, played by David Lambert, the 17-year-old son of the pool maintenance guy, isn't the smartest move Lee could make, but she isn't a great judge of character or circumstance to begin with. Thrown out in the street by her spiteful mother, played by Amy Madigan, Lee resorts to sleeping in an unfinished annex to the house. Homelessness takes on a new meaning. Hot sex with Jason might be fleeting, but it fires the non-judgmental nature of a movie that almost works. Kristen Bell single-handedly holds the film together with an every girl appeal that seeks to represent a generation of young people tossed into the cold by a country of greedy bankers and a government without any reliable system of checks and balances.
Some things were made from our youth.
In spite of its ragged edges, The Lifeguard captures an essence of alienation in America whose future resembles a dark abyss rather than anything bright. I give this mediocre independent film a C. My sleeper pick is Our Nixon, and my guilty pleasure pick is Afternoon Delight. My must-have DVDs are The English Teacher from Cinedime, To Be or Not to Be from the Criterion Collection, and The Painting, also from Cinedime. Draped in the manners of the fin de siècle in Paris, writer-director Jacques Becker's 1952 milestone of romantic drama is a snapshot of French mores at the turn of the 20th century. A would-be love story between troubled souls at the bottom of the social ladder, an ex-con carpenter and a haughty prostitute, is the springboard for an examination of romance, integrity, and gangland crime during the Belle Epoque. The legendary Simone Signoret was never more stunning than in her role as the hooker Marie Casque d'Or, a reference to her helmet of blonde hair. Cinematographer Robert Lefebvre compulsively explores Signoret's somewhat masculine face in direct-to-camera close-ups so audiences may absorb her bold charisma. Radiant backlighting gives Marie a glowing outline that emphasizes both her character's seductive power and her poker-faced convictions. Lefebvre's innovative camera work, including complex dolly shots and fluid pans, further energizes this film with techniques that influenced such French New Wave directors as Godard and Truffaut, to whom Jacques Becker was a hero. It's no coincidence that Becker had worked under Jean Renoir, another Nouvelle Vague precursor, for more than a decade. The story opens with a painterly composition of revelers rowing boats to shore against a monochromatic landscape. An impressionist sensibility bleeds from the frame. Marie rows while arguing with her gangster boyfriend Roland, played by William Sabatier, a frequent habit that bores the other members of their party. Never mind that the men row the other boats as their female companions enjoy the ride. A Sunday afternoon dance at a nearby cafe strikes a lightning bolt of love at first sight between Marie and the unpretentious Manda, played by Serge Reggiani. Manda is close friends with Raymond, played by Raymond Bussieres, a member of the same gang, led by Lika, played by Claude Dauphin, which Roland considers family. Raymond and Manda once spent time in jail together, and their bond is evidently deep. Roland takes offense when Marie dances with Manda, despite the fact that her new suitor is careful to dutifully keep one arm dangling innocently at his side throughout the dance. A pulled chair leads to a punch. Manda is no pushover. Raymond visits Manda in the woodworking shop where he works to invite him out for dinner. The die is cast. Roland is at the crowded restaurant when Manda arrives. A backyard duel between Roland and Manda involving a switchblade forces Manda to give up his job and leave town. Suddenly attracted to the object of Roland's and Manda's affections, Lika, the cunning kingpin, takes over the story. He manipulates the people around him to ensure that Marie will be his and that Manda will take the fall for a crime he was cornered into committing. Turning the conventions of film noir on its head, here is a homme fatale. Of the film's many strengths, it is Becquer's absorbing attention to every detail of costume and milieu that makes the movie live and breathe with a timeless vibrancy of cultural significance. Regardless of how many liberties the filmmakers took with the actual 1901 case involving a prostitute called Casque, here is a non-judgmental treatment of people, circumstance, lust, and emotion. Thanks for watching, and visit colesmithy.com for more.